Susan, thank you very much. I'm excited to be here. I would be more excited to actually be in Florida, as I'm sure everyone would be. But as these times are upon us, it doesn't make it possible. But I just want to thank you, Susan, and the rest of the conference planning committee for inviting me. And I want to thank Brian for his leadership in turning this into, well, the Sanibel Symposium is always webcasts, turning this into a remote educational opportunity, even for the presenters such as myself, and keeping the CEU opportunities and educational opportunities alive during this crazy time. And also, I want to thank you for asking me to speak on this particular topic. As you'll see in just a few minutes, AmSECT's working towards a better communication strategy with our membership and with the perfusion community at large. The organizers had no idea that this is the case when they asked me to speak on this topic, but it does fit nicely into our efforts as we move forward. So with that, I'm going to speak with you today briefly about AmSECT's strategic plan, outlining the initiatives and some of the issues that AmSECT is addressing, really on behalf of the entire perfusion community. AmSECT's mission incorporates really four main areas of focus: patient care, safety, education, and the professional needs of the perfusionists. And this has been AmSECT's mission and focus since its inception. For any mission, you need a strategy really to achieve the goals. Historically, AmSECT's incoming president-elect would come in every 2 years and lead a strategic planning committee and bring in that president's ideas and initiatives that would be developed and distributed during the next couple of years. A couple of years back, beginning with Bill DuBois' presidency, AmSECT kind of changed the way we looked at our strategic planning process and set up an overarching and ongoing strategic plan for AmSECT. And now the president-elect comes in and still leads that strategic planning committee, but that committee focuses on what's been happening over the last number of years with previous presidential administrations, what's working well, what may not be working so well, and what new things, if any, need to be brought into the plans and the projects that AmSECT has and will continue to have over the next couple of years. And that's what we did a couple of years ago when we developed the current strategic plan. It's not my strategic plan. It's not Jim Reagor's strategic plan. It's AmSECT's ongoing strategic plan. Each of the initiatives that you'll see today will fall into one of the four main areas that I spoke about. The initiatives, some of which are ongoing and some are new, support and are supported by the mission. They serve to benefit our patients and our professional community and really flow within that overarching strategic plan that I spoke about. Unfortunately, I don't really have time to cover everything that AmSECT is doing, so I'll just be hitting really the highlights. However, be sure that this is really just the tip of the iceberg. And there are many, many more projects happening, both at the committee and the task force levels, all of which are aimed at supporting AmSECT's mission, you, the perfusionist, and the extracorporeal technology community at large. Beginning with patient care, what is AmSECT doing to address that piece of our mission? Standards and guidelines have been in development and are ongoing. Center of Excellence, quality improvement, and societal collaborations are really just some of the main areas of focus that I'll speak to. And I'll start out with our standards and guidelines, which I know you've heard some about already this week. They were developed back, long ago. They used to be called the Essentials, and they were reevaluated and brought up to modern times with in about 2017 by the ACBP. And they were updated in 2019 for adult cardiopulmonary bypass, as well as in 2019 the pediatric guidelines, standards and guidelines were developed for pediatric and congenital bypass. To date, the AATS and the Congenital Heart Surgeon Society have both endorsed these documents. The Congenital Cardiac Anesthesia Society is currently in the process of reviewing for endorsement the pediatric standards as well. And, a lot of hard work went into developing these best practice and really evidence-based recommendations. And we are well on our way to achieving endorsement by many of our societal healthcare partners. We believe that endorsement from these societal colleagues adds a significant amount of weight and validity to our standards and guidelines. And as a result, we'll be going after many other societal colleagues for endorsements over the next couple of years. The Centers of Excellence Initiative, or now is called the Pillar Award, has been led by Scott Snyder and Michael Colligan. This task force, as many of you who are listening right now likely participated in, looked at all types and sizes of institutions, from chiefs and directors at all types and sizes of institutions, both members and non-members of AmSECT. This is something that's set up for everyone in the perfusion community, not just AmSECT members. A process was set up based upon the published standards and guidelines, which is now, should be achievable by all types of institutions and hospitals, whether they're large or small, academic or private practice, whether they're hospital-based or contractor-based employment. It's open to anyone and has been specifically designed to be achievable by any institution that wants to undertake the process. Dozens of conference calls with well over 50 chiefs and directors, along with surveys and personal communications, asking questions around what should be included in this Pillar Award, how should it be constructed, what the application should look like, if there's a cost, what the cost should be. And this all went into the development of this project over the last year or two. Trial applications are targeted to be ready in May, and we hope to fully open this to the entire community of interested institutions by probably the end of the year, and we're well on track really to accomplish just that. Registries nowadays are a big deal, and not just registries, but learning networks and learning collaborative organizations that allow us to really take the data that we can collect these days and put it to work, improving quality and improving the care that we give to our patients. And of course, the first step of learning from our data is actually collecting the data. And many of you have heard about Perform, which is an adult registry embedded within the Michigan State Thoracic and Cardiovascular Surgeon Society. AmSECT is Perform's societal partner and have been for a number of years now. PD Perform is a congenital registry that is in development, and a congenital learning network that will be intertwined with AmSECT, having representation in the PD Perform governance structure. And this has really been something that we've worked at from the beginning in the development of this learning network and this registry. We're going to go deeper with both of these relationships, identifying ways that we can be more synergistic really with our partnership, providing opportunities to participants in Perform, PD Perform, and AmSECT to really allow us to leverage this information and this data and the opportunities to learn and improve our institutions' care to our patients moving forward. Also, along the lines of patient care, Quality Improvement Committee is in development. This committee will have the charge to develop core quality assurance measures, national quality initiatives, QI tools, and educational material, teaching really how to use those tools. I know that when I started learning how to use funnel plots and G charts and run charts and all that business. I honestly had no idea what I was looking at. I'm fortunate to be at an institution that has a lot of high quality quality assurance folks at it, and does a lot of work in that regard. So I was able to learn from them, but not all of us have that opportunity. So we're hoping and we believe that this committee can develop tools like that and educational opportunities to learn how to use those tools. We believe this committee will benefit from AmSECT's relationship with Perform and PD Perform, using data collected in those registries to drive some of this work. And, you know, it's a regulatory requirement, and I'll touch on this in just a moment a little bit more, that, you know, the perfusion departments are involved with their institutional quality assurance and quality improvement initiatives. And we hope the tools and the resources that are developed within that area by this committee will really help perfusionists get through some of those reviews and help them know how to participate well within their institutional quality assurance programs. Now, as we're going to start taking a look a little closer at our educational opportunities, AmSECT U is really a vital part of AmSECT's ability to disseminate our educational information. And I'll be honest, we haven't done a great job harnessing the full potential of this platform, really. To that end, AmSECT has invested time and money and volunteer efforts into the development and the delivery of a new platform that we can use to ensure efficient and accessible delivery of quality education. And we expect AmSECT U, if some of you haven't noticed, it's currently down. We did send out an email about that a few weeks ago in order for us to get the new platform back up. And we expect that to be back up and running by mid-year. This revitalization, new platform investigation and development has been led by Dave Fitzgerald and Jeff Riley, who are doing just an outstanding job of revitalizing the service, combing through the content and developing new content as we move forward, so that we can have an outstanding platform and content for delivery to our community. Many of you have probably heard of by now the Certified ECMO Specialist exam, which has been in development over the last year. It began under Bill Dubois' presidency, but was actually originally thought of and brought up for discussion during Susan Englert's presidency. This was something that she brought forward. And from that, and through those thoughts and ideas, we were able to ask the IBBM to work on this, as they have experience with developing exams, the PBMT and the PBMS exam, and validating those exams and developing those exams. And they were really a great resource, and really the ones with the qualifications and the experience to do so. AmSECT fully supports the ABCP certification for perfusionists, the CCP, and believes that certification applies to the provision of ECMO as well. This exam is primarily designed to allow those who are not formally educated in extracorporeal technology to demonstrate their knowledge, ensuring really a basic level of skills and understanding for ECMO specialists. This initiative, this process and project has been led by Jeff Riley, the other members of the IBBM, subject matter experts for ECMO were recruited by this team. A lot of job descriptions were collected. This exam is a job description based exam. Those job descriptions were validated. Different ones from different institutions were pulled, and pieces from each of those that seem to be in common were examined. The exam questions were developed. A pilot exam came out of this and was given remotely to over 75 ECMO specialists. And from there, the final 100 question exam was created. The first offering for this exam was in St. Louis back in March at AmSECT's international meeting, where 26 people took the exam, including the father of ECMO, Dr. Bartlett. Of course, he passed and received his CESA certificate. He received the very first 001 certificate, and we're very proud to have Dr. Bartlett's involvement and support of the exam. There are now 115 certified ECMO specialists, with more already registered to take the next offering. These offerings occur periodically online, allowing the clinician to take the exam from their home location. If you or you know an ECMO specialist, if you are an ECMO specialist or you know an ECMO specialist that is interested in validating their knowledge and taking this exam, you can find out more at the IBBM website, where you can find out more about the exam, learn about the application process, and even sign up for the exam. Another great offering, which came out of Kenny Shand's presidency, and again, we're continuing to move forward, is the Leadership Symposium. This offering, which began as a one-day symposium on the front end of the AmSECT International Symposium about 3 years ago, has now grown. There's so much content to cover, and so many great conversations that happened during this symposium that it has been extended to 3 2-hour webinars that occur leading up to the physical meeting at the AmSECT meeting. Over 100 mentors and mentees have participated in this program. With continued support from Medtronic, this program will continue to provide a community and resources for those in leadership within the perfusion community, or those who are aspiring to be leaders in our community. Many of us, including myself, may get to be leaders because they're good perfusionists, not because we're good leaders. And this program was really designed to help leaders learn from good leaders and from others in our profession that have gained experiences that people such as myself are just beginning to encounter. We can get questions answered, and those leaders and aspiring leaders can grow in their leadership roles. This community is really developed around an idea of safe conversations where questions can be asked and experiences shared, and which are kept really just within that community. The mentors and mentees of that that participated in this community are the only ones that have access to that information. And hopefully by offering a safe place or a closed community for participants to ask questions that could be sensitive or share experiences that may be sensitive or possibly controversial, this hopefully will provide that area and let those people share that information, not just one-on-one, because we can all pick up the phone and call someone that we know, but really for everyone in that community to obtain that experience and share those same experiences with each other. The next offering for the symposium will be at the next AmSECT International meeting. Right now, that's scheduled in 2021 with the AATS, but we'll see how that all works out. And applications for this leadership symposium will be open very soon. Finally, on the education front, AmSECT has offered several webinars over the past year. This is something new for AmSECT, but it's something that we understood really to be a need from the community. Bill Dubois really led this initiative and kicked off these offerings with topics covering ECMO primarily. And as I mentioned also, the Leadership Symposium is using this format. And most recently, the Joint Perfusion COVID Task Force has provided offerings via this medium for perfusionists with questions and experiences surrounding the current crisis and how they relate to perfusionists as a community. In the area of safety, we're bringing this back from Dave Fitzgerald's presidency. He looked at an event reporting system, and we're going to bring that back around and hope that this is a good time for that now. We'll be looking at opportunities around the development of an event or a safety reporting system. I don't know how many of you might be familiar with the PEER system, the Perfusion incident reporting system. I actually participate in that and get updates from them regularly. It's been very enlightening for me, and it's something that I do hope that we're able to offer to the community. This will be, really a way for perfusionists to share their near misses, mistakes, maybe errors that they had no control over, really in a de-identified and protected manner, so that we might all be able to learn from each other's experiences surrounding those unfortunate occurrences. There are hurdles that we'll have to overcome with this, but I know that each one of you most likely participates in something like this at an institutional level. I know here at Cincinnati Children's, we have an event reporting system, and anything that doesn't go as planned or as expected gets put into that system. And we talk about that as a team. We talk about it with our surgeons, and it's something that we really get to learn from. Even though we run team perfusion and at least 2 people experience what occurred, the rest of the team wasn't there for it. And having this information and being able to put it down in a safe and secure environment and share it amongst our full team is really a beneficial opportunity. And we hope that we'll be able to develop something that allows us to share those experiences on a national or maybe even international level, so that just our local team doesn't get the benefit of those unfortunate occurrences, but everyone can. Also, so now, as I mentioned, we also talk about professional needs, and the event reporting system could fall into this section as well as many of the initiatives that AmSECT provides and the projects that we work on can really fall into or dip into a number of these 4 areas that we look at and that we cover with AmSECT's mission. But in this particular bucket, some of what we do as perfusionists really isn't necessarily clinical in nature. And AmSECT's efforts around providing for our community's professional needs is where this kind of focus actually comes in. I touched on this just briefly when I was talking about the Quality Improvement Committee, but many of us have gone through a joint commission regulatory review or other type of service review. And this particular initiative is something that Bill Dubois began in his presidency, and we want to continue. This is a great example of something that we looked at during the Strategic Planning Committee meeting, and decided that we kind of needed to shift maybe a little bit the ideas that we were thinking of with it, and but the thoughts and the ideas around what it was intended for still rang true and still were applicable. These reviews, if you've gone through them, are not much fun, even when you're fully prepared for them, and much less of a blast when you have no idea what to expect. So AmSECT, through this, is working to develop educational material and a set of tools created by those of us who have firsthand knowledge of this experience, that have gone through Joint Commission reviews, have kind of been touched by that exciting opportunity. And we hope that this set of tools and these educational offerings will make these experiences a bit more manageable, as well as hopefully improving and strengthening your department in general. Lastly, communication. And I hinted at this in my opening remarks. All the things that I've mentioned and all the other initiatives that AmSECT embarks upon are of no use to you if you have no idea they exist. And communication really to the AmSECT community at large and to our membership has kind of been a failing of AmSECT's board of directors, and I'm pointing the finger right at myself when I say that. We need to do a better job of letting the membership know what the board is doing, what the communities and the task forces are doing, and really what efforts are being made on the perfusion communities and the extracorporeal technology communities behalf. We also need bi-directional communication from the extracorporeal community. We have surveyed the membership. We've had personal conversations. We've surveyed. We had a collaboration with the American Board to survey the all certified perfusionists to find out what they wanted, what they needed. The perfusion community at large here nationally, and we've done all these in recent years to find out really, what we needed to be doing. But there needs to be a better way. There needs to be better ways and better channels of communication, bi-directional communication for our board, so we can adapt quicker and really provide solutions faster for our community. So with that, and this is another new initiative that we've worked on and that we're just putting into place. It's a communications task force. And this task force will be chaired by Laura Barrett. And we have very high hopes for this initiative to help us guide AmSECT's future direction. Laura has already jumped out, providing ideas. She's in the process of forming this task force and membership on this task force. So if you're interested in participating with this, we ask you to reach out to AmSECT. We want people involved in all of these initiatives, and we really want people that aren't already involved. Scott Snyder did a little project. It wasn't a little project. It actually took a lot of work, but to look into really how many people within AmSECT's membership are volunteering or in some way participating in AmSECT initiatives or projects or sitting on committees, and found out of the over 2,000 AmSECT members, there were 80 people involved in some way, shape, or form. This is all the way from having been elected to the board of directors to working on a task force, to doing something that a committee had reached out to you and said, hey, would you mind working on XYZ for me? These were everybody that we could find out that had been touched in some way and had been involved in some way with AmSECT, and it was 80 people. Imagine what we could do if we doubled that number or tripled that number, or if we had every perfusionist involved in efforts around supporting our community and delivering great educational content to our community. If we had that opportunity, if we had that volunteer power, the sky's the limit. So we're really hoping to bring people in. People, if you've run for an elected position and you didn't get a chance to be elected, that's okay. There's still opportunities for you. If you've just thought about, hey, I'd like to do something, but I don't really know who to talk to or who to reach out to, call me, send me an email, reach out to AmSECT, and they'll put you in touch with the right people. If AmSECT's not your place, if you would rather participate with some other society, I encourage you to do that as well. Reach out to your state societies, your local communities, or anywhere else to give back to really a profession that really gives a lot to all of us. Lastly, I'll leave you with this. And I'm sure that all of you have seen this in one way, shape, or form, but it's really amazing what you can accomplish if you don't care who gets the credit. And this is a personal guidance for me in general, and I hope to serve AmSECT and the perfusion community over the next couple of years with this in mind. I truly hope all of you stay safe, enjoy maybe the extra time that you might be having with your families and that you might be experiencing around now. And I hope we can all get back to work and some semblance of normal life very, very soon. So now, if we have time, I'd be happy to answer any questions around this presentation today, or really any other aspects of AmSECT. So thank you very much for your attention, and stay safe out there.